What up, what up? Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment below. I'm Tom Smoke. And body game, there's winners and losers, baby. You know who's winning and you know who's losing. It's pretty obvious. So you might be in the middle, transitioning from being a loser to being a winner. And that's okay. As long as you're working on yourself, that's what counts. And the people that gave up, the people that just let it go, those are the real losers. You only quit when you give up. Well, you only fail when you quit. So as long as you keep going, you can't fail. So it's just important that you may get discouraged, but keep that mindset. You got to be a winner. Even though you're going to be struggling, even though the diet's hard, you're hungry, you got, cramps in your stomach, you can feel your ab muscles, shrinking down. You feel depleted. You still got to deal with it. You got to dig deep and you got to get to the end because it's a marathon. It's about consistency over time to make it to the finish line, whatever that finish line might be for you. But it's just crazy. Winners and losers, that's life. You got winners at business, winners at romance, winners at, finance, sports, all facets of life. There's winners and losers. And some people might be getting discouraged. You might be, a little bit overweight. You might be really overweight. I don't know. But you might be looking at yourself in the mirror, feeling defeated, wondering how you're going to get the mindset, how you're going to get started. And really, you're already here. You're looking at the videos. You're checking out the other channels. Shout out to Wraith Rasai. Big homies doing big things, spreading the good word on body game. And, other guys, Luther Versulian, just the list goes on and on. And it's important that you listen to those guys. You get, you get gassed up, you get hyped up, and you get more motivation and stoking the fire, so to speak. And once you start moving and once you got motion, you just got to stay in motion. Listen to the videos, more frequently, re-listen to old ones. Once you get the base foundation of what you need to be eating, what your training needs to look like, then it's just a matter of staying motivated, keeping the mindset going, trying to surround yourself with like-minded people. And you might not be able to work with anybody that's, trying to get lean at your actual job. You may not have any friends that are trying to get lean. Hell, you might be going to the gym right now and you might not even be meeting people at the gym because everybody's off in their own zone, doing their own thing. And if you go approach them or you want to go ask for a spot or something, they're going to think you're a creep and a weirdo and, probably spray you with mace or something. I don't know. I don't like going to the gym. This shit's a hassle. But you start somewhere and you get going and you just keep staying fresh, keep digging deep and remind yourself why you're doing it. Because if you're doing it for health reasons, obviously that's going to be at the forefront. Do you want the heart issues? Do you want the diabetes? Do you want to have the stomach bypass or whatever, the gut surgeries and stuff? It's something that you can avoid entirely. Stop drinking alcohol, stop smoking cigarettes, the sugary sodas, the sugary drinks, the Kool-Aids, the sweet teas, just all that stuff. Make the choice. And you just got to keep reminding yourself why you're doing it because you want to be a winner. You don't want to be a fucking loser. Because again, it's obvious when people aren't winning at the body game. Tell me why I'm on my way to work yesterday and I seen this lady on a stand-up electric scooter and her biceps were humongous. They were bigger than mine. But she was 3 times as big as me. And it was probably all fat. And the biceps are probably from her feeding herself. And I just couldn't imagine myself getting that much overweight. I mean, it was heavy. I'm surprised that scooter was able to support her weight. in all honesty. But that's another story for another day. We're talking about winners and losers. That lady, maybe she's working on her, weight. I don't know. But her biceps were humongous. Humongous. And she didn't get that from lifting weights. I promise you that. But keep your mindset, fellas. Stay winning. Little wins over time accumulate to big wins. Maybe instead of having that bacon, egg sandwich, you take the bacon out and then it's just an egg sandwich. Or, maybe instead of having the ranch on the salad, you switch to like a light, vinaigrette or something with a lot less calories. Something that's not like a cream, base or something that's got mayonnaise or whatever kind of funky shit in it. So it's every day, every hour is a victory. When you're on your diet, the longer you can hold out eating the food, every minute is a win. When you feel your tummy rumbling and you're saying, well, I can wait 5 more minutes, let me wait 10 more minutes. Well, feeding time ain't for another hour, so you just got to tough it out and deal with it. And then when that hour comes, boom, feeding time. Maybe you're not even hungry no more. You have to remember how you feel in certain situations. Remember, you can retrain your thought processes. Especially if you have structured eating times, that is going to be a big factor in controlling your appetite. If you take away all the snacks or replace the snacks with a healthy option, carrots, broccoli, apples, a banana maybe, those are all cheap calorie options that are better for you than greasy food, chips, candies, the extra sauce from Panda Express, or the extra 2 cups of rice and the extra, sauce drizzle at Chipotle. You got to be mindful. If you're making small changes over the course of time, maybe if you were having a donut every week, or there was a Friday morning, or Friday lunch social thing, maybe you can skip that because you realize that's 2,000 calories just in that one meal. And if you stopped eating those 2,000 calories every week, you might see a difference in what your ass looks like for sure. I don't know. When I look in the mirror, I'm winning. I see fitness. It's tough work, but every hour, every day, we're getting it in. Well, I keep making these videos at the time my alarm sets off so I can get ready for work. But again, that's part of winning. You got to make these videos, got to get the content out there so you guys know that everybody's regular. We're not out here balling, making a shitload of money. We got bills, we got responsibilities. We're regular guys just like you doing body game. I'm married, I got kids. Other than my health, and my wife leaving me, I don't need to get in shape. My kids are fine playing without me. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have to lose weight to do my job. I don't have to, lose weight for anything besides health and personal reasons, which is what I care about. And I want to be attractive. I want to be a handsome man for my wife. I want her to see me and double take, pow, pow, because that's what I'm going for. I want to be her prize every day when she comes home. I want to be the fantasy brought to reality that's the husband. That's what I'm stuck with the rest of my life. Damn, hell yeah, I get stuck for the rest of my life by that guy. Like, that's the reaction that you want. You don't want to have to go fighting for, getting some shit at the club from some chicks. You want to go enjoy the company of your friends, enjoy the time out. And then if you see a nice girl, you want to be ready to make conversation, or at least be ready for her to come talk to you. And if you look like a bum, if you look like a loser, you're probably wearing something expensive. You probably got some fancy jewelry, or you brought a bunch of money to show off at the club. But if you got a big gut, nobody cares what you're bringing with you. They want to know what you are. And if you're not taking care of yourself, You're probably not a good businessman. You're probably not a good, athlete, scholar, employee, whatever you want to call it. You're just average. Maybe you're below average. Who knows? I mean, the standards have sunk so far, the bar is set so low, so they say, that nobody's got a six pack. Nobody's got a flat tummy. Nobody can just lift up their shirt and show their ribs and their obliques and their hip bones, ab veins, the contour. That's supposed to be super uncommon. Having chest cleavage, you know what I'm saying? Bicep veins, tricep veins. People don't look like me. People don't look like you. If you're on body game, you're already winning. That's what I'm saying. And if you're in transition, you could totally look like me. You could totally look like Luther Vasulian. You could totally look like Wraith Rasai. All these guys are cut up. I'm on my way. I'm trans fat. I'm on my way to getting totally shredded. I'm close, but it's hard. You got to keep track. I got this little sheet right here. This is my food diary. I got Sunday. I got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today's Thursday. And the same thing for lunch, same thing for breakfast, same thing for dinner, every day of the week. That way I can track what I'm doing, where I'm going, and I can see my progression down on the scale. As long as I'm getting my protein and everything stays the same, I can start quantifying the actual weight that I'm losing every day to every week. But it's important that you have to know what you're doing. If you're flying all willy-nilly, if you don't have a coach, if you're not going to YouTube University and getting you an education on nutrition and sports science, you need to work on it. But that's why you're watching the videos. That's why you found me. You're trying to get ripped. You're trying to get shredded. Home fitness, doing body weights and dumbbells. I'm showing you how to get shredded. I'm doing it. And you can look at my videos from last year. You can look at my transformation from where I lost 85 pounds. I used to have my gut hang over my hands, all 4 fingers, at least 3. I got the pictures. Check them out. But it takes time, it takes diligence, and it takes consistency. And you have to be on top of things. And if you have a hiccup, if something goes awry, and maybe you have a bad day, maybe it's Mother's Day and you got to make a quick trip to the Chinese food buffet or something. Maybe it's Friday night and somebody's in town and they're having a pizza. Maybe you're having 1 slice or no slices. You got to make something else. You're dealing with it. You're man enough to take responsibility and accept accountability for it. You're able to be open and honest with your wife, with your partner, with your kids, of why you can't do certain things related to food. You can't have certain cakes in the house. You can't have certain candies and treats. Hell, even protein bars. I can't have them in the house because I'll end up eating 2 or 3 of them at a time. And yeah, it sounds, like a cool dessert to have or like a treat, but you're going to be surprised how quickly that one treat turns into a whole box in like 3 days. You got a 4-pack of some nice Skippy protein oatmeal cookies, and that shit's gone in 2 days. They're good. They're too good. And you got to be able to test yourself and fail so you can learn and retest yourself later and pass. So like this time I'm in a diet phase. I'm not having the protein bars. I'm not overdosing my protein and my calories. I've wisened up. I've experimented. I had different cuts and gain phases last year where I experimented. I had a base diet. I moved things around. I took things in and out. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do to customize it for your personal lifestyle and what you like to eat and what you like to do. Maybe you don't like to eat breakfast, but you like to eat lunch and dinner, and maybe you like to have a midnight snack or something. Maybe you like to have breakfast and lunch and skip dinner. Maybe you don't have lunch. It just depends. There's lots of ways to do it. But if you need coaching, you can hit me up in the Discord link and see if we'll be a good fit for getting you on board. And I can walk you through this whole process. I used to be 215 pounds, and now I'm 135. I have the proof. I can help you win at the body game. But you got to be willing to put in the work. You got to be willing to put in the time and effort so you can get out the results. This isn't a short-term type of thing like going to work where you work today, you get paid next week. You got to put in the work every day for weeks, for months, for years to turn around some of the bad behavior that we've had. Trust me, you don't want to be that guy getting the news from your doctor that you fucked up having too much fun a long time ago, and now you got to change your ways because your health is in the balance. Get ahead of that shit now. Pay now so you don't pay later. Get on Body Game. Check out my other videos. Check out the other guys, Luther Vasulian, Ray Thrasai, Elevate Everyman, Brandon Carter, Brandon Clark. The list goes on. Noto content. Be serve him. You can see him in the YouTube. Tarek Talks, Southpaw Honcho. You guys are seeing the same guys I'm seeing. I know you are. But you found my channel. So hit the like button and subscribe. I got stuff coming out every day. Sometimes it's body game stuff, but mostly it's fitness and progress and diet tips for men over 40, stay-at-home dads. I'm trying to show you that you can get ripped at home doing home fitness. I'm doing the P90X. And the P90X3, I did that all last year. You can buy you a copy and you can do it at home. But you got to be willing to put in the work. I can't do it for you. You got to do it yourself. I'll see you next time. Let's get ripped, baby. Hell yeah.